Welcome back, guys. Today I'll be taking you on how to make this cap. So I'll be taking you through a very simple step on how to achieve this. Okay, so I'll be making use of this ashoke. All right, so the first thing is you just measure your ashoke. There are different approaches to this, but this is one of the simplest method I use. So you just measure like this, you slant your tape like this on the ashoke cap. All right, 9 inches. You are measuring 9 inches slant, and then you measure another 9 inches slant. All right, so you make sure your tape is as slant as you are seeing it now. All right, so make sure if you are slanting it, it gets to the edge, from the very edge there. All right, as you can see. Then after which you just rule. All right, see where I ruled and how I ruled it. Just follow this process. It's going to be a very simple process. So you slant your 9 inches also, and if you measure down here, you see that I'm having 13.5. So you see that you measure the 13.5 at the top to give you the other part like this, 13.5, or you slant it again from this very point here, another 9 inches. So if you slant that 9 inches and you measure from this point, you see that you have that same 13.5. It's going to be the same thing. So you slant it again, just like this, and then you cut out. All right, you can see, just cut out the slant, 9 inches slant. So we'll be needing 3 of this particular line here. We'll be needing 3 like this. So you just cut it out. So if your head circumference is from 20 to 24, you'll be needing 3. But if it's more than 24, you'll be needing 4. All right, so I'm working with 22.5 as the head size, so I'll be using 3 of this. So now this is how I'll join them. You join them like this, and then you join this one like this, like this. Okay, so you join it like this, and this is how your outcome is going to look like after joining it. So let's go to the sewing machine and join them now. So I'll be joining the first part. Make sure this very part here, you have to make sure that they are corresponding, so you don't go and make mistake in joining it upside down. All right, just make sure you position them equal and position them very well before you join it. All right, so all you need to do is just join, and then you top stitch it also. Okay, all right, so the next thing I'll be doing now is I'll just fold it to one side, and then I'll just top stitch it to hold it firm. I'll just top stitch it. You have to take your time and make sure your sewing is straight. Okay, so now I'll be joining the third one. All right, so I'll join it like this. Mind you, you are joining with quarter of an inch, not up to half inches, not up to half inch. Okay, so you are joining with quarter of an inch, so the allowance will not be that big. So I'm just holding it with quarter of an inch, not up to half inch, so that you will not over stitch it, so it will not look smaller for the head size. All right, okay, so after you must have finished joining it like this. Now the last phase of this joining is a very technical one, so you have to be very careful with this. If not, you make a mistake that you have to lose again. All right, so I think I'll just take this to the table so I can explain better for you to see. All right, So at this point here, like this, at this very point, let me take it to the table. So now at this very point, you are going to join it like this. From this top here, from this other top here, you join it with this other top at the other side, just like this. This is how you are going to join this part. Alright, this is how you are going to join it. So after which you just sew and then you top stitch. This is the last joining, so you have to be very careful with this. This might seem a bit stressful at this point, but you just have to take your time and follow this process. You will achieve it. Okay, so you just open it from the inside and also top stitch it. The reason for the top stitching is for the stitches to be strong, alright, to hold it firm. So take your time and top stitch it very careful like this. As you can see, just see how I'm doing it. So just take your time and sew it like this, very careful with it. So after you must have finished joining it, alright. So after joining, this will be our outcome. This is how it's going to look like. This is how it's going to look like after joining. As you can see, we already have that slant design. Alright, we're having that slant design already. So now all you need to do is just to cut one side open like this, and this will be our result. Okay, this will be our result. So you just trim out every of the excesses. Okay, so this is our result after joining. Okay, so now we are done with this. So you get your collar stain. I normally use collar stain. Alright, I use collar stain. So if you have your collar stain, you can use your collar stain. Some persons do use collar stain and then they will double it with other strong stain, but I just make use of collar stain only. So what you need to do now is to cut out the round part of the cap. Alright, so just position your collar stain like this, and then I told you we are working with the edge size we are working with is 22.5, 22 and a half. Alright, so now we are not going to measure 22 and a half. We are going to measure 22 and a half plus 1 inch, making it 23 and a half. Alright, so the height of this will be 3 inch, but some persons use 2.5. You can either use 2.5 or 3 inch, or if you want it smaller you can use 2 inches. So but for me, I prefer using 3 inches. Alright, prefer using 3 inches for the height. Alright, so I'll roll like this, and after cutting this out, after drawing this, I'll just cut it out. Mind you, the size of the cap, the size we are working with is 22.5, 22 and a half, but we are cutting out 23 and a half plus 1 inches. Sorry, plus 1 inch, because if we want to join it, we'll be joining with ½ inch. So once you join it with ½ inch on both sides, it will fall back to 22.5. So that 1 inch is the allowance that will be needed to join the cap while you are sewing. Alright, okay, so now we are done with this part. So the next thing you'll be doing now is to iron this to your cap here. But before then, what you need to do now is to mark out the points that you'll be sewing out. Alright, you mark out the points. So from this very point now, I'll just divide my 22.5 into 2. 22.5 into 2. Okay, 22.5 divided by 2 is going to give me 11.2. Right, 11.2. So you can see now that the width of this ashoke material here is already 25 inch, but our cap here is 22.5. So now you just measure 11.2, which is the 22.5. Just measure the exact head and then you mark it out. Alright, just measure it and mark it out so as to indicate where you will be joining. Alright, you just mark it out so as to indicate where you will be joining when you want to join the cap. Right, so you can see now that the very space that is remaining now is just ½ inch, which was the additional allowance we added when cutting it out. So this is where you'll be joining it when it's time to join it. All right, so now from here you see that if you should join ½ inch for both sides like this, it will give you 1 inch in total. So that is to say it will fall back to 22.5. So that will be all for this part of the video. Drop your comments if you are interested on the other parts, where I will teach you how to sew the cap completely. Thank you.